J.
All right, welcome to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real, bringing you a Tuesday edition of the show. And man, do we have a really good show. We have a lot to cover, and where we're going to start today is the firing of Lane Kifin over the weekend. Now, they went to Arizona State and got beat down before the man could even get on the bus, leaving the airport. The director of the sports people there and the sports facilities and everything, the director of sports basically said, hey, you're not going to be joining us on the trip home. Pulling him aside and basically just kicking him to the curb. Now, a lot of people were happy about this because there's not a lot of Lane Kifin fans around the United States because of what he did at Tennessee. Took the job there, promised that he was going to get them to the championship, and then as soon as a better job showed up or popped up, he jumped ship. So a lot of people not happy with Lane because of that. But who could blame the man? It was USC, for heaven's sake. So looking at what's going on there, a lot of reports are coming out of California and LA wanting to know who's going to replace Lane there at USC. And there's names popping around, everything from Fisher in the NFL to possible ex-players. I mean, it's amazing the momentum that this story is getting. But Lane Kifin being fired over the weekend for getting beat down by Arizona State. Now, the director did come out in an interview on the Dan Patrick Show, and he did report that it wasn't just this loss that pushed him to his decision. It was the fact that they've kind of been pushing it very close to the line pretty much every week since the season began, and he was just tired of going the wrong direction, and it's understandable. So that's an interesting story coming out of college football. And then also, as we focused on, in I think the last show or the show before that, it's just a shame that these folks are not giving McCarron, the quarterback for Alabama, any love when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. You're hearing everyone else's name going for the Heisman Trophy this year, except for the man that should be getting it. The man has 2 national championships, and he's going for his 3rd. And I guarantee you he's going to have that 3rd championship, because who's going to beat Alabama? It's just hard to see. And he gets no love for the Heisman Trophy running. It's sad to say. Now, moving on real quick to the NFL, we just have a few things to touch on, and one of them is the Steelers are 4-0 since the 60s. I believe it was 63. You're talking embarrassment. That is my team, my pride and joy of sports, and we are looking like a bunch of dog doo-doo, and what can we do about it? Nothing. Our team looks old. They look confused. They're not playing together. We have no running game. The only thing that's even coming close to halfway decent is the defense, and they look like crap this last week. Getting beat down in London, overseas, letting a rusher rush for 150 plus yards on us. It's a sham. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. And true Steeler fans will still wear their gear with pride and understand that we can't win every single year. But that's what we're used to getting from the Steelers, is going for that Super Bowl every single year. But obviously at 0-4, it's not going to happen this year. We'll be lucky to break 500, and I don't even think we're going to get that in our belt. So, what can the Steelers do? One thing they can do is they're going to have to rebuild. And I'm sorry, folks, the Steelers are going to be in rebuilding mode. I know we hate to hear that, but we need new, young talent. And the only way that's going to happen is rebuilding through the draft and having to pay some players some money. We are in a total disarray right now, and it's sad to see. But the question out there, and I want to pose to all you in YouTube land, is, are the Steelers the worst team right now in the NFL? And I'm personally going to go out on a limb and say, yes, they are. From what we expected at the beginning of the season, again, I didn't expect the Steelers to be a Super Bowl contender this year. I was hoping that they would be competitive, but never in a million years would anyone, even just your normal sports person, think that the Steelers will be 0-4 right now in this 2013-14 season. And so I'm going to have to go out and say, yes, we are the worst team in the NFL. Because any of those teams, Jacksonville's, your Miami's, your Panthers, all those, they had no expectations. They were expected to be worst of the worst. So now that they are, it's no surprise. But the Steelers being 0-4 is just, it's a catastrophe, really. And you have to put them at the bottom of the list. Hopefully we won't be there forever, and at least we won't be there too long the rest of the season. Now, moving on. The news coming out of Tampa is just craziness. This stuff going on with Josh Freeman is a mess. He doesn't know if he's going or staying. He's demanding a trade. But who's he going to get traded to? Who's going to want to pick up $6.5 million worth of contract for a guy that got benched on his own team? It's going to be tough to see where he goes and who's going to be willing not only to give up. Someone was saying, okay, what if they give up just a 7th-round pick? Would someone trade him? The problem is the Tampa Buccaneers would have to eat $6.5 million worth of salary cap. Are they willing to do that? That's the question. And we will find out. I guarantee you something's going to have to move on this fairly quick. So I expect within the next week or two, Josh Freeman's, the drama of his story will unveil and be the end of that. Moving on to the Texans, Matt Schaub is on the hot seat. This guy gave away a game to the very high-powered offense Seattle team. They were in the brink of getting beat down by the Texans, and not only through many mistakes, defensive errors, they allowed Seattle to get back into the game, and then with barely enough time, Schaub could have threw the last pass away, kicked the ball, or gave them a chance for the defense to hold them, and instead he throws a pick six. It's pretty bad for him right now. They're yelling for his head on a platter. They're yelling for him to be benched. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look like the coaching staff or his teammates are sticking up for him very much right now. He did cost them that game. With the game on the line, he threw a pick six. It's tough to see if Matt Schaub's going to be the starting quarterback. Time will tell. Now, also real quick before we wrap up, some NFL news. The Patriots are winning, but my gosh, they're winning so ugly. And when they meet a team that's above 500, that winning streak is going to end. The luck will be over. They will get beat down by a team that's actually good. They're beating teams by luck and by just being who they are with the Patriots. You know, you got Tom Brady and you got their coaching staff that's really good. So they're winning by just the skin of their teeth, but that's going to end very soon. Again, as I said, when they meet a team that's actually above par. Now, real quick before we wrap up with football, I got to jump back real quick to the NCAA news. There was a report that Earl Campbell, the star running back for the Texans, many years ago, many blue moons ago, as I like to say, he is asking for the firing of their coach Brown. He's saying that they should follow the lead of USC and just let their coach go now. Do not wait till the end of the season. Now that's kind of funny to hear because Earl Campbell, again, I think my favorite running back of all time, he is saying that he appreciates what Brown has done, being there I think over 14, 15 years, something like that. But it is time to move forward from Coach Brown. They should not wait to lose the rest of the season, that they should cut bait now, get Coach Brown out of there and bring in some fresh meat for their coaching staff. That's interesting. That's very interesting to hear him say that, if that report is correct. But that is the news right now for football. Now, real quick, we're going to wrap up or get into our Magic Minute. We're going to cut away just real quick, and when we come back, we're going to snag one of our gamer experts, we like to call him, and he is coming to us from Texas. So we're going to see if we can catch up with him when we come back, and we'll cover the Magic Minute. So don't go anywhere. You're going to enjoy this part of the show. Be right back. All right, welcome back to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. We just had to cut away real quick because we had to go find our gaming expert. Ryan, what's up, buddy? How you been?
I'm good.
You're good, huh?
Yeah.
All right. He's probably a little nervous. First time being on the show, but hopefully we'll have him on a few more times as this winter season goes through, covering the Magic Minute. So Real quick, before we get to you, Ryan, I want to talk a little bit about last week's tournament. It was Friday Night Magic, and we did the Theros release. Now, we have results for that tournament. In third place, we got to say big ups to Owen Little. First time placing in the top 3. Good job, Owen. He's a local. He's actually representing from Mescalero. Now, second place, we have a transplant all the way from Alamogordo, New Mexico, Aaron Castelado. He took second place in the tournament. Here at the for the release of Theros. And then first place goes to Pinky. He is our local right here. He's been hot for the last month, placing in the top 3 almost every single week. So big ups to those 3 guys. And I have to tell you, what did you think of the Theros set coming out?
I actually kind of enjoy it. We did really well at the pre-release. Came in second for that. It came down to me and one other guy. We both were playing the red-white heroic. And this new build, along with like the new ability of devotion, heroic, and adding in the Sakurai ability as well, really makes the game a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick with Ryan's help is I would like to have your top 3 card picks of this new set, Theros. Let's hear what you got.
For my third, I choose the Phalanx Leader. He's a 2 white mana, white creature. Comes into play as a 1/1, but if you enchant him or any sorcery targets him, he gets a +1, and all your other creatures get a +1/+1.
So it kind of helps boost up your creatures, get them real powerful.
So if you put 2 out there and you play, say, a red spell called Coordinated Assault, which is 1 mana, they both target 2 creatures. They both become 3/3s.
Wow, that sounds like a good card. All right, how about your second pick?
I would have to choose the Herald, the Sun God.
Okay, The new God cards, basically.
5 new, just like when they did the Titans. It's kind of a new, interesting build. They come out as indestructible creatures, but they don't become creatures unless your Devotion, which is a new ability where you count all the mana on top of your cards equal a certain number. So he can't be a creature unless the Devotion is 5.
Okay. And then he becomes a badass.
5/6, indestructible. His first ability, all your creatures gain vigilance, and second ability, 4 mana, pump out a 2/1 enchantment creature. And of course, my number 1, got to give up for the big lady of this one, Elspeth. Pretty interesting girl. +1 on her. Gives a white soldier token.
Right.
DKs 3. All my creatures get +4 power or greater. And -7, she becomes there's a token or enchantment come out. All creatures get +1, +3 with flying. Pretty good. We only had 2 pulled out of an entire box you had. Case. Yeah. Out of 6 boxes, only 2 were pulled, which is kind of makes her worth the big card.
Right. So, as you was mentioning here at the Player Zone, you can pick up your new Theros cards, singles, packs. The intro packs will be here. I believe they were telling me to tell you all by the end of this week. They will have intro decks here with the new packs as well. So we got to thank the Player Zone. They're our big sponsor and Right On Time Air and Delivery Service. And as I mentioned last week, we have a new sponsor coming up. It's just really difficult to get out there and meet up with them. But this week, I'm going to really try hard to push for that and get them on board. So keep tuned or stay tuned for that. Now, I'm going to give you my top 3. I think those 3 are really good ones. But I'm going to have to go a little different. I'm going to go as my third one, Hammer of... You want to lay that one word out for
That was the Hammer of Berberos.
Berberos, whatever he said. The reason why I like this card so much, Ryan, is because basically for 2 red and 1 colorless, you throw this artifact down and it gives all your creatures haste. That means big, small, medium, they all come into play attacking. That is brutal. Then... I've actually experienced this card firsthand, playing a little bit over the weekend, where I could have won, but this guy turned his card into a creature, and when I was only at 2 damage or 1 damage, if he wouldn't have been able to inflict that 1 damage, my next turn I would have won the game.
It's an interesting ability. Pay 3 mana, tap it. You sacrifice a land, though, but it becomes a 3/3 colorless golem token.
And it has haste. It attacks that turn. So basically, that card to me is very brutal. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to the green and red Planeswalker, and help me with that pronunciation as well. It's Zegos, the Reeler. I believe it is.
Xenagos.
Xenagos the Revealer. Now, this is a new Planeswalker, green and red, but this is what's so brutal to me about it is, with all this green and red weenie cards coming out now that also pump out extra mana, you can literally throw this guy down on the field for 4, possibly have 3 or 4 creatures, and you could have anywhere from, 6, 7 mana right off the bat. It's pretty brutal. So that's my second pick. And then for his last ability, which is -6, you reveal the top, 7 cards?
Plus the top 7 cards of your library, you may put...
You dump them, and then you can put any amount of creatures, I believe.
Or lands.
Or lands onto the field. So, I mean, brutal card for green and red. That's my second pick card. And then for the first pick, and this is a sleeper pick, and I'll tell you why. It is, help me out with this one too. Is it called Storm Breath or Storm Breath Dragon?
Oh, Storm Breath Dragon.
Storm Breath Dragon. Okay, this card hit the market at like $20 or $25, $30, but I believe it's going to fly through the roof because people are going to be wanting to play green and red dragons. Mark my words, it's going to be a deck. It's going to be popular, and if someone can't deal with this right away, then this card is going to be inflicting large amounts of damage.
It's kind of an interesting ability. He has flying, haste, and protection from white. He has monstrosity ability, and you pay 7 mana. He gains a 3/3 automatically, and his monstrosity ability does damage equal to all your opponent's creatures by the number of cards in hand.
So, yeah. So you're talking this card, in my opinion, is going to be brutal by the time this set gets to its full potential and popularity. And don't be surprised if you don't see red dragons being a huge deal when it comes to tournament play. So there is our picks. We have a Type 2 standard tournament, the Player Zone, this Friday night, starting around 5 o'clock, 5:30. Don't miss it. If you want to contact them, you can contact them through their Facebook, Player Zone Facebook page, or go to riadosomidtown.com, click on the Merchant tab, boom, you'll see Player Zone under the Entertainment section. Hit them up. That will be the store to help you learn your gaming needs. They have comic books. They have Yu-Gi-Oh!, sports cards, memorabilia, you name it, they got it. Ryan, I appreciate you jumping in with us. And we're going to go ahead and jump into our wrap-up. Ryan, if you want to hang out, that'd be great.
No problem.
And what this is, we're going to jump out of the sports world for a minute because this is world news. This is impact news, in my opinion, and I want to talk about it. There seems to be a situation brewing up in our world right now where officials, whether it be government, city, police, agencies, whatever, they are going too far, Ryan, I think, with the world of whether it be guns or the way children play, whether the children's imaginations.
The idea is someone who's trying to become an educator, we want to dumb our children down and then overprotect them, or everyone wants to be touchy-feely but not understand why we need to be touchy-feely.
That's perfect. And what we're getting to, folks, is I don't know if all this is why we're bringing it to you. A kid, 8-year-old boy named Jordan Bennett out of Florida was suspended, folks, for playing cops and robbers and using his hand as a pistol shooting at a robber on the playground.
This isn't the first time that schools have overreacted. In the last year, there was one with a little boy who ate his Pop-Tart in the shape of an L. There was one about a little 5-year-old who had a little action figure, had a toy gun on one. What is happening is that they're punishing children for being children, but not punishing older.
Adults, yeah.
Well, not punishing like older kids for dressing up like gangsters or dressing up like little girls dressing up like strippers and stuff. No, that's perfectly okay. But when children try to be children,
well, that's my point, Ryan. This is what we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is not particular to our show. But for all you out there, this is real, and I want to be real with you. This is ridiculous, folks. Kids have to be allowed to be kids. I mean, you're talking, what kind of boy doesn't play cops and robbers? Cowboys and Indians. Now, like you were saying, there's all these other games out there, and they're saying that this boy was suspended for being a violent perpetrator.
it even says in quote from the article, in their own like school rules, kids can't even go outside and pretend to have toy guns or even pretend to play military, any kind of...
Folks, this is the problem, okay? We understand our society in America has got so carried away with weapons. We understand that. I think we can all say that common sense people would say, an 8-year-old boy going like this and at a robber on the playground, which is what we all did.
Oh, yeah.
Every boy has played cops and robbers.
Pick up a stick, it's a sword.
That is the most just disgusting thing I've ever heard when it comes to trying to push the gun law, trying to push, we need to crack down on gun violence.
It's the same. I think after all the school shootings, officials are more afraid of being sued by angry parents or being sued for not doing anything, or even as someone like me as an educator, I don't report something, I go to jail. So it's all this fear of lawsuits and jail time.
But where's our society going? I mean, where's our society going, folks? And you let us know. We want your feedback on this subject more than probably anything. Are government officials, school officials, police people going too far? I mean, not even using common sense. You know what? This will change the way our kids are. Seriously, we want to talk about imagination. We want to talk about wanting them to be, part of, experiment with the reading and all these things, but yet we're taking everything away from kids that make them kids because of what adults are doing. Don't you think? I mean, that's just idiotic. That does not make sense.
It seems to me that it's okay for a parent to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 for a 10-year-old, but it's not okay for that 10-year-old to go out and play with the friends on the school board. The school. Yeah, this is the same group of people who've banned dodgeball, who have banned PE, who have banned recess, and now there is a push to get rid of all physical sports altogether. That means get rid of soccer, football, wrestling, baseball, all sports altogether because it's considered too violent.
Right. And we don't want to go down that road right now, folks, but what I'm just going to end up and wrap the show up with, Ryan, is I think that we have to use common sense, folks. We did a story about 2 weeks ago where a parent, a father, the actual blood relative parent of an individual handed his son a beer to hold while he took a quick snapshot. That, to me, is right where we are, where we're going too far. I mean, I used to go and buy stuff for my parents when we were little kids that was now termed and deemed illegal, but it didn't make us crazy psycho people. It was just what we did as kids. Your parents have, I think, the right to show you and teach you the way they want to teach you, not the way the government wants to teach you. That's just my opinion on it.
It's really all these new, what I would consider like the new age hippies.
Sure.
The new, you have to be touchy-feely about everything because if you spank your child to become a serial killer, put them in timeout, they're going to be a serial killer. All these studies that people have made seem more like fake science that will come out of the woodwork to just perpetrate what they want and their belief. I was whipped as a child, and I graduated college, and I'm becoming a teacher. It does not happen.
Yeah, and just real quick, and we're going to wrap up on this whole subject is, people use common sense. This young boy is being a boy. He's playing. He wasn't out there with an axe chopping people up. He wasn't out there with an assault rifle. He was playing cops and robbers with his friends. What more could you want from an American young boy than playing cops and robbers with his friends? That's all American. We're lucky this kid ain't behind the school touching boys or girls or smoking or doing drugs. They have so much more to worry about, our schools, and they're picking on innocent boys being boys as playing cops and robbers. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Let us know what you think. Leave your feedback and comments, and we'll hit them up on next week's or on this weekend show on Friday. But for right now, we got to wrap up because we're.
Yeah. Well, to all you guys out there on the internet world, this is Average Joe, and I'm Ryan, the cartoon guy. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace out. See you on Friday.
Peace.